Good morning. It is time for another project. So today's project is going to be 20 pounds of ground beef. And we're going to be making ground beef in the jars and Salisbury steak. First time I've ever made that. So my pan's ready for the Salisbury steak to bake. My onions for the hamburger meats. My seasonings for the Salisbury steak, which is going to be Montreal steak sauce. And I have my better than beef bouillon for the broth. It's on the stove. My jars are in the dishwasher. We'll start patting out my Salisbury steaks, get them in the oven, and while those cook, I'm gonna brown the hamburger meat. So come along and let's see it, get it done. I've never made these Salisbury steaks before, but I've seen them several times on YouTube. In case you don't know that, I'll introduce myself. I have 3 PhDs from the YouTube University, so I'm very experienced in what I'm doing. I mean, how many of you can relate to that, right? So sometimes I'm a little nerdy and I like things to be uniform. And if I make 4-inch patty or 4-ounce patties from 160 ounces of beef, I need 8 more ounces from 1 pack to make it an even 42 patties, because I'm putting them in pint and half jars. So let's get this out. Alrighty, I guess I did. Let's go with the steak sauce. I think that's all I'm going to use right here. Should be plenty. And now we just massage the seasonings together. Got my handy dandy husband over there helping me out today. And we're not real grown palates. Our palates aren't for a bunch of different flavors. Like, I'm not a big wine cooker, but and I also want to make these where they're just flavorful, and then I can tweak them, add different flavors later. So hence the reason I'm just doing the patties. So 4-ounce patties. No, this is kind of All right, so it's $3.95. So this is about what I'm looking for. Now that I know about what ball, let me just. So we will come back when I have all these patted out and ready to go in the oven. Alrighty, welcome back. So we got all of our patties measured. They're all between around 4-ish ounces. I got the 42 I needed for my to put 6 in a 1.5-pint jar, and we got our hamburger meat and onions, salt and pepper ready to start cooking. We got our broth going in the background. I'm gonna put the patties in the oven and start browning the hamburger meat. Now, the hamburger meat will clump up. They recommend you par cook it so it's loose and it won't clump in the middle of the jar, thereby giving you a not a guaranteed cook. Canning, you have to get to 240 degrees and keep it there for the amount of time what you're cooking. In this case, we're cooking meat in pint jars, which requires 75-minute pressure canning time. The 1.5 pints, since they're more than a pint but less than a quart, you go with the higher one, which is the quart, which requires 90 minutes. And during that time, you don't want that meat to clump in the middle and not guarantee the heat consistency throughout your jar. So thereby you par cook your ground beef. Now I know you can can meatballs. This may be a rebel recipe, but we're gonna try it anyway. I'm gonna cook it when I take it out of the jar, take the juice or the broth off, thicken it, maybe add some onions and bell peppers. I don't know. I'm using a basic seasoning. So in this Montreal, there is garlic, salt, black pepper, red pepper, and onion powder. So, or flakes. And then some other spices. But it did taste pretty good. I tried it. So this way it'll just be it won't be bland, but it won't be like fanciful with the red wine and cinnamon and different flavors. People have different palates, and ours is a southern palate. We like spices, but we're not that adventurous. So anyway, so we're gonna get going, and I will bring you back when we are ready to can. Hey, welcome back. I thought I would, while the hamburger patties Salisbury steak is cooking in the oven and my hamburger meat is between stirs, I thought I would just come back. This is my first canning video, so you gotta bear with me. What I do as a canner, and I've been doing this for years now, but one thing that's really helped me, I'm a nerd at heart. My husband calls me his little engineer, but I'm nerdy. I like to calculate, manage, plan, all that. I don't know, I like to start with the end in mind. And I was taught that through a company I work. We took the Franklin Covey 7 Habits, and you always begin with the end in mind, right? So at the end of the day, or the end of the canning project, how many jars am I gonna need? How much of this, how much? And I don't like not knowing, especially if now there are recipes, and I have found out that the recipes in the ball book and stuff aren't exactly accurate. I'm sure it goes towards like the amount of liquid or water maybe that's in the tomato, or but it varies. So it may say it takes makes 6 pints, it might make 5.5 pints. So And some of these recipes you make when you don't know what you got. So like the other day I made coleslaw with bell peppers. I was gifted this box of cabbage and bell peppers and they were going bad. I had to cut all the tops off of the bell peppers. They were still good. It's just the volume, you don't know what you got. So you go with what you have. Here's the recipe called for a head of medium head of cabbage, 1 bell pepper, medium onion, medium carrot. Well, it was a medium. So I don't know how many jars I need, so I took out way too many. But the thing is, I was able to measure. I measured the number of, the amount of cups I had with the onions and the carrots, the bell peppers. Couldn't get the volume. The volume of cabbage was just too much. So I wrote down, here's what I put in it. At least I know what I put in it, right? And the volume gave me 23 pints of coleslaw. So, and it's pretty yummy. Yeah, we've already ate 2 jars in 1 week. So anyway, when I go back to do this, I made notes and then I put it in my journal. So when I go back to look, I want to make that again. I know about what I need to make what I need. I know what about I know about how many jars I need to make the coleslaw again with what I have bought or been given or have grown. So that just helps me. It helps me plan. The other thing it helps me do is cost, right? So the only thing I had to buy for those, for the coleslaw I made, was onion. All it cost me was the onions. And so 23 jars divided by the $4 I paid for the onions, which I used some in another recipe, but it came out to about 17 cents a pint. 17 cents a pint of coleslaw, and that's really cheap. The other thing I got was tomatoes, and I put the rest of the onions there. I bought a few jalapenos to go in it because I didn't want it too hot. My husband likes a little mild. So all I had to do for that recipe, and I had all the cumin and the chili powders and the cilantro, you know, I had all the stuff I needed, spices. And I made salsa. I got 11 pints, and that cost me 41 cents a pint. I mean, to go into the store, I don't even know if you may get a 10 or 12 ounce jar of salsa, and it's probably $3 or $4. I don't know. I haven't bought any in a while. So you can see, based on if you have free food, somebody's gifted you some vegetables, what can I do with this? What can I make with it? And so I had plenty of just stewed tomatoes. I had plenty of tomatoes, you know, diced tomatoes on the shelf. I needed spaghetti sauce, but these were more like the tomatoes you buy in the store, and I didn't really want to make tomato sauce out of that. But it made perfect, delicious salsa. So, yeah. So just to help you out there, and I think one day I'll go through my, I'll do a little quick video on how I do things in my spreadsheet, and I track what I made. I know, I think it was 2021, 2022, somewhere around there. I have to go look and see. I put up over 800 jars, and that's, you know, the little half pints up to the quart of food on my shelf. Part of that was just the, you know what, the pandemic, and the other part was we moved, and I had to clean my freezer out, so I was able to take stuff out of my freezer and can it, put it on the shelf, like stew beef, ground beef. I'm down a couple jars, so that's why I'm putting some more up today. So I had a lot, and we've been able to eat on that for a couple of years now. So I gotta start replenishing that. But yeah, I love making my own, putting up my own foods. You know what's in it, number one. Number two, tweak it to your taste. It is the ultimate in fast food. You don't have to go to a hamburger joint. Stew beef. Open up a jar, drain the liquid, make it, add a little cornstarch to it, and I heat up my stew beef, throw me on a pot of rice, voila, or noodles. I have stroganoff, beef stroganoff in a jar. So it really is the ultimate in fast food. So anyway, I wanted to share that with you while that's cooking. So anyway, I hope that helped out and helped inspire you to think about what can I do to help put food on my pantry shelves, especially in this high inflation that we're going. You go to the store, you can't even buy hardly anything anymore. I really feel for the seniors and the single parents and those people who are really struggling. I mean, other people are struggling, you know, couples and things, but when you're on a fixed income, it can really, you know, cramp your style, and you have to really plan. So anyway, I'll be back when we're ready to can. I hope that helped you out. Got a lot going on the farm today. Alrighty, so next step, I got my 10 jars of hamburger meat, and I got about 10, 11 ounces of meat in each jar. And then this is my better than beef broth. Pour in here to inch headspace. What I love to do with these jars of hamburger meat, Taco Tuesdays, I just dump the whole jar, including the broth, add my packet of taco seasoning mix, and I have taco meats. And then, if I want a quick thing of hamburger or spaghetti or even hamburgers, there's a restaurant in Missouri called Made Rights, and they served loose ground beef hamburgers, just kind of debubbling, make sure there's no bubbles in here. And if you want a quick burger from, it'll be anything you get at McDonald's or Burger King or wherever. These are so flavorful because I have onions in them. I cooked them with my dehydrated onions. I didn't have any more onions because I used them in my coleslaw and salsa the other day. So you use what you have, which is the beautiful thing about putting up your own food. Use what you got. These all look good. All right. And I'm probably going to need to make another thing of broth because I don't think I'm enough for both of those jars for the second batch of. And I can't believe what I just did. Did you see that? I wiped my face with my vinegar rag. One thing about the South that I do not enjoy is how hot it is down here. So, I'm going to do this all over again. So, you take a paper towel, run over here behind the camera, because you know you got to make it look pretty in front of the camera. Get my vinegar. And then you want to wipe the top of your jars because this meat is a little greasy side. That way your jars will seal. I think that piece just needs to go in my mouth. That's so good. Okay, there we go. Not very bad. And then I'm a process driven woman, so I like doing things in assembly line method. I should be able to double stack these. In my first go canner, and put these rings on. Everybody tells you, finger tight. How is finger tight? For 75 minutes. Okay, welcome back. Got my last batch of Salisbury steak out of the oven. I can't wait to try these. And, okay. All right. Okay, so I didn't get what I wanted, but I have a patty each for me and my husband for dinner or for lunch today. There you go. I have too much. I have too much water in this one, I think. Alrighty, I'm gonna go put these in the canner. And I don't know the canning thing. There's somebody on the internet tells you how to can, and every canner is different. And I have 2 separate canners, and they're gonna process at different times, so I have to monitor those. Anyway, we'll come back when we're done. Alrighty. You know me, I can't stay away. Always something, always something. I didn't get the 6 patties per jar like I wanted, but that's a good meal for me and my husband. And if he don't be carnivore, we may can get 2 meals. He's a big carnivore. So we got 8 meals or 8 jars of Salisbury, and there's 5 patties in each. And those tubes of 90% I got from Sam's, I don't know, last year or sometime. So I needed to get them out of my freezer. We were gonna have a big cookout, and I don't know, things didn't work out. So anyway, that's to my advantage, right? I get to eat my own food. So I took the most expensive one, which was $45.20. I got 8 jars. I'm gonna say 8 meals at $5.65 a jar. The hamburger meat was $44.84. I got 12 pints, about 10-11 ounces each. And that gave me $3.74 a jar or a meal. Like I said, it's wonderful for a taco. It's not quite a pound, but hey, when you cook a pound, it shrinks up anyway. Mine's just pre-shrunk. Taco meat, spaghetti sauce, loose hamburgers are amazing, really they are. Sometimes my husband likes that Xanaran's dirty rice, I'll just throw that in my rice cooker, open a jar of that meat, voila, dirty rice with hamburger meat. So it's really easy, quick meals with a hamburger meat. I'm really anxious to try these Salisbury. I have 2 left over. So I'm going to, I thought I was going to get 7 jars at 6, so I got 8 at 5. So we'll have those later, and I'll actually get to try them. So nothing really stops me from trying that right now, right? I mean, who's watching? There you go. Very flavorful, not too salty, nothing overpowering, just a good seasoned patty. All right. This will be good in the gravy. I'll just slice me an onion. I have some chopped bell pepper in the oven in the freezer. Saute me some onions and bell pepper. Thicken that gravy. Cook it. Now, here's another thing I love to do, and that is can white potatoes. I know some people don't like it. I've canned russet, I've canned red, and I've canned golden. And my favorite of all is the golden. The russets get just a little too mushy. But the reds and the goldens, even though they're soft, they don't, and you can like squeeze them, they don't fall apart. Great things to make with those. Instant real mashed potatoes, right? You just dump the jar in a hot pot, heat it up, mash it up. You can drain it if you want to. Instant mashed potatoes, instant Salisbury steak. How amazing is that, right? The other great thing about canning white potatoes is it's a really quick potato salad. I mean, you just drain them, rinse them if you want to, mix them in your mashed potatoes. They don't fall apart. It makes a really good, potato salad. It makes a good potato salad, quick potato salad. You ain't got to peel potatoes, cook them. It's just really good fast food. So hopefully that encourages you to think about joining the land of canning and putting up your own food. Talk to you later. Alrighty, here's the beauty. Look at all the beautiful Salisbury steak and hamburger meat.